Hey guys, it's Wednesday, May 24th, the VIP Prep. And for the few of you who like to join live, you're going to get a real treat today. Man, we've been on fire since midday yesterday here at StoryTrading. First, let's look at QQQ, SPY, ARK. So remember, let me actually start with ARK, okay, because I talked about this 50-week moving average and the potential for it to be a fake out. It's the end of the week candle that matters. See that? Right now, it's a fake out. If we close here, it's going to be the same thing that happened on January 30th. So we have to see where the candle closes for the week. Okay. And remember that thesis I've been talking about of, hey, I want to short QQQ when the debt ceiling limit is reached. Well, guess what? That's no longer a secret. A lot of people are now all of a sudden talking about this thing that the liquidity is going to be sucked out of the market because of the bond offerings when that debt ceiling agreement is reached. Okay. So I feel people may be starting to get ahead of this trade. And I noticed and I saw when this QQQ broke some key levels yesterday. All right. Actually, one of the key levels is here. You can go look at this candle, 334.42. So I started shorting this thing yesterday, picked up puts to move into today. Look, to me, it looks like it's a shoo-in to the 20 DMA. All right. And interesting thing also is not only a 20 DMA, but you can pull back like, you can pull back, let's say weekly, you can pull back even a 312. See the top of this candle, 313, which coincides with the 20 DMA. You can pull back there and still be bullish. So for all those folks who are saying, hey, I still like the big cap, mega cap tech, and QQQ is still strong. Look, you can still pull back to 312 and still be bullish. So there's this big gap here because we just flew up so much. And I think that even makes me more confident about a short position here because there's just a lot of room for bulls to take profits and then go bull again. Okay. So right now, I did put a nice hedge on with QQQ puts. Going to be the same story with SPY. You can actually see TLT is probably good in this environment now with bonds. Nice hedge. It's been acting well. I don't fully understand bonds, tell you the truth, but I think there's going to be expectations of lower rates, which is good for TLT. Gold has been doing well because of fears of this debt ceiling. Gold is one that I think will go down once the debt ceiling limit is reached. So be careful with that one. All right, so that's a big macro picture. Now I got some specific great ideas that have been working. Man, we've put on like 3 or 4 positive trades since like after hours. PANW had earnings. Okay, PANW. So we did. Remember, we messed up on Deere because we forgot about the full year guidance. Right? We just saw the headlines that hey, they did a huge beat in Q1. They raised full year guidance. So it was like great, all positive, right? But what happened? I'll reiterate it. They raised the full year guidance less than the magnitude of the Q1 beat, which implied a slowdown the rest of the year, which you don't see in any of the headlines. So since then, we adjusted our formula and we've been right on every single earnings release since in terms of is the stock going to go up or down. So we did that again here with PANW, and I'll do the math with you. All right. So let's scroll down here in the newsfeed to yesterday afternoon. Here we go. Here's all the estimates. So they beat 110 beats 93 cents, right? So everyone's, oh man, 17-cent beat, 25% beat, whatever that is, the stock's going to fly. You got to look at the guidance. So let's go and look at the full year 2023. But hey, before full year, they also gave us Q4. So Q4, let's make sure that they're adjusting that higher. And they did 126 to 138. The midpoint's 128. Okay, beats 120. So they beat Q4 by 8 cents, right? So now you have a 17-cent beat in Q3 and an 8-cent beat in Q4. That gives you a 25-cent beat. So now you go to the full year, and you better hope they're guiding for at least 25 cents higher for the full year. And they are 425 to 429. The midpoint is 427 versus 402 estimate. So it's at that 25 cents. So, right, they're not really guiding for more upside, but I think that's probably, you can just read into that they're only going to increase the guide based on what they have visibility into. Q3 higher, Q4. I mean, the beat in Q3, the guide in Q4. So now this is the cue I'm taking is they're not forecasting a slowdown the second half of the year. Maybe they don't have the visibility to say, hey, we're going to fly the second half, but they're not forecasting a slowdown. So now, therefore, the formula kicks in, and you can do that formula. So now you take 427 minus 402 divided by 402, and you come up with, I think it was roughly 7% beat when you do that math, and 7% if you apply to yesterday's close of what was yesterday's close of 189.74. It gets you to about 202, which coincides with a 52-week high of 203.44, roughly. Okay, so 202 is my target on PANW. Now, you may want to do a corrective action based on QQQ. QQQ is down 0.63%, so you can take 202, discount it by 0.63%, and that'll take you to like 201 or 250 cents. Do the math on that, right? So I still like this based on our math. Got in that after hours, and we're green on that. PANW. Here's another re-rating play, PLAB. Okay, now PLAB has been awesome for us in the past on beats. Now let me go through the math on you on PLAB. All right, so PLAB. Here are the numbers on PLAB. Okay, so you can see them here, but I wrote them down on a sheet. So basically, Q1 beats by 23%. 54 cents beats 44 cents. That's a 10-cent beat. They guided for Q2 at the midpoint. 51 cent beats 48 cents. That's 3 cents beat. That's 6.25%. Implied full year. Now, they don't give full year guidance. They don't give full year guidance, do they? Let me just check. No, they don't give full year guidance. So they're only giving Q2 and Q3. So we have to go based on what we have over here. So if you take the Q2 and the Q3 beat, you add it up, compare it to the estimate of 165. So they're basically on track to do 13 cents better than the estimate, which is 7.9% better than the estimate. So at the minimum, I would expect a move about 7.9%, which takes you to about 1860, which is where the bid is right now. All right, but here's the other thing. At 1860, you're breaking the 50 DMA right here. Okay, you can see it there. You're breaking the 50 DMA. So now this is where technicals come in. And right now, I think the target is going to be 1950 to $20 is your target because you're breaking the 50 DMA. And don't forget, Q1 beat by 23%. Okay, so some folks may be, since we don't have a full year, some folks may say, let me push it up more than 8%. That's our calculated re-rating value. So you combine that 8% with the technicals, and I think this can possibly do 1950 to 20. Now, the other thing, you want to look into the commentary. The press release commentary is all positive. I'm just getting a note here from my colleague, Yosef, who was on the conference call and said the QA, there were no red flags because we've had in the past on the PLAB conference call, beat and raise, but then a red flag in the Q&A session when they talked about cyclicality of the semiconductor industry. So we didn't get any red flag like that on the conference call. So the sentiment is a check as well. But here's the one thing I want to warn you about. PLAB has a tendency to fill gaps, okay, because it's very thinly traded in pre-market. So big sellers that want to get out, they're not participating in pre-market. So if they want to get out, they'll get out at the open. So you have the risk of a gap fill, which I think will be a crazy great opportunity. So 1721 is yesterday's close. But I would say gap also like 5 days. So I think it's possible you get a gap fill to like 1755 to 1721. If you get a gap fill like that, I think that's a crazy opportunity. We've seen this before when PLAB beat and raise. We once saw a complete gap fill to like 0 for the day, right? 0% move for the day, and then did a vicious V. All right, and it was a huge win. And I think it was Tony who was, or maybe it was maybe it was my colleague Yosef. I don't remember. It's someone in the chat room made huge money with me on that day on the gap fill. So lots of opportunities here, whether you get an 1860 at that calculated value or whether you're looking for a 1950 to 20 based on the move above the 50, or you can wait for a gap fill and then really make that work out. So PANW, PLAB, 2 earnings plays, 2 earnings beats, 2 earnings re-ratings to the upside, despite the fact that the QQQ is down 0.63%, which we also like because we're short right now, the QQQ. All right. What else we got? LILM. LILM had additional news, 2 press releases this morning. This just keeps going. I missed it, unfortunately. I didn't really miss it, but I missed it. I didn't miss the call, but I missed making money on it. So in any case, just want to say things are continuing, getting momentum here. Stack catalyst, and that target for you is 140. Yeah, that's a double resistance there at 140. So not in it, but yeah, I can easily see it going there. Anyway, happens. All right, 140. HTCR. So this had news and was flying yesterday. Guess what? I spoke to the CEO yesterday, and I liked what I heard. I don't have a position. I should have a position. We messed up because last night we put a day order instead of good to cancel, and we missed our entry at 190. It hit 185. Why did we choose that number? Wow, because 185 was yesterday's low. So if this was truly good news that deserves a re-rating, you should stay above yesterday's low, which is 185. So that's your support. That'll give you an inside candle today if we stay above 185. Again, I did speak to the CEO yesterday. I got an understanding of why the stock. Now, listen, I spoke to 2 CEOs yesterday. I'm not just going to be like, oh, wow, I'm wowed by every CEO. It's a green light. Yesterday, I also spoke to CETX CEO, and I was not impressed. Okay. Was not impressed with CETX, and I'm avoiding that stock for now. Okay. I get a better understanding of what sort of catalyst would make it go. I'm going to stay to the sidelines and wait for the catalyst to make it go if that ever happens. But with HTCR, different story. I understand this re-rating. I actually think it was deserved to have a re-rating of maybe $1.50. What was the close here? The close was 128. A $1.50 re-rating takes you at about 278. So in a sense, this move was fundamentally warranted, which meant that you can find support at 185 today, or even 186, because 185 doesn't really give you an inside candle. 186 would give you an inside candle. Lo and behold, the low was 189 this morning. So perfect analysis. We messed up the execution. That happens. So if it heads back down to close to 189, 190 area, somewhere like that, I think we may be interested. Hardcore this morning, why did it spike, by the way? They had a Hardcore and Science partnership agreement with Topian. Now, this is actually not so significant. They have, this is for their CMS content management system. They have like 700 clients. So this is another one, 680 clients. They make, like, I calculated something like $10,000 a year on average from these clients. So it's another $10,000 a year. It's just, but it improves sentiment, right? It's a catalyst that keeps it going today and helps it create that inside candle. So that's what the traders are jumping on, and that's fine. But, you know, maybe we're going to bring the CEO on. They actually want to speak to StoryTrading. So we're going to try to schedule an interview for our StoryTrading community so you can understand what this story is about, what this gap was about, and potential future further upside in HTCR. So we're watching that and no position. MPW, a colleague told me about this yesterday after hours. Hey, they have this news. They tell me it's a very big refinancing. Now, this is really complicated for me. It's over my head. This is a REIT. It's a hospital REIT with very complicated financial things going on. All I know is in this environment, refinancings are typically good news. All right. So it is moving up on this massive refinancing. Then this morning, they closed the sale of some assets, $730 million Australian dollars. Okay. So now you get 2 stack catalysts last night and this morning. But I will tell you, there's a big short thesis out there on this. Big short thesis out. I read it this morning. You can find it by going to Hedge Eye REITs. Hedge Eye REITs. They cover MPW in a bad way, but they admitted that the news last night was an incremental positive. So there is a play in here, you see, with a short position of 18-19%, and the stock right at the 50 DMA, right at a breakout level. So this could have a good day, and the MACD looks like it wants to flip. So I would say to the upside, potentially you can get a move to 970 maybe on MPW today if there's a short squeeze. But based on what I'm hearing, the bear thesis that I read, I don't know if this is a stock I want to hold long term, just something that we're going to trade. And maybe today at 12 p.m., we're going to talk to Chris Tuttle Trades, because he knows this sector. We talked about CY8. Indicated he knows a little something about this company. So I'm going to ask him about MPW today at 12 p.m. So tune in today at 12 p.m. We're going to try to do a lot of more shows at 12 p.m. for those folks who work, and maybe they can get the lunch hour at 12 p.m., something like that. So we're doing 12 p.m. Tuttle trades today and 12 p.m. Rex trades tomorrow, okay? All right, hopefully we'll see you there for those. What else? We got some news on NVTS. Now, this was a big, huge high flyer that we found because they did a deal with REL, and we found out, hey, they're a semiconductor company doing in the same sector as Air, designing and testing, not designing and developing, not testing like Air does, but gallium nitride and silicon carbide. So very hot sector, very, very rich valuation. Like, I don't know, trading at like 30, 40 times revenue is like something ridiculous. Okay. But they're growing very fast. People like that. People like the sector. This thing exploded after earnings. Let me switch to the daily chart over here. And then they did an offering. The offering last night was priced this morning. Did an offering last night, priced this morning at $8. You have support here in this range. I would say 6. You see those 2 moving averages crossing each other there. So you have support at like 691 through 746. 691 through 746 is a technical support area. And when you consider that the offering is at $8, there might be an opportunity alongside here. We actually shorted this last night, not in size, but as soon as we saw the offering come out, shorted that, covered at 750. But there's something that maybe might be a play in here to go long, especially because they were priced at $8 and now we're below where the market priced the offering. That's not always a slam dunk, by the way. So that's why you want to look at the technicals, and maybe maybe you don't dive in at 733. Maybe if you hit these moving averages, that's a safer bet. All right, that's NVTS. Palantir is going down with the NASDAQ this morning. Not a surprise. Kodak had some insider buys yesterday. By the way, why do I have Palantir, Kodak, and VTSI here? Because I reviewed all the stocks in our portfolio, and I think these are my three favorite. Palantir, Kodak, and VTSI. I think Palantir will be the most volatile near term and move with the indices most. But all of these have fundamental tailwinds, like 2 quarters in a row of profitability now for Palantir, 2 quarters in a row of profitability for VTSI. Both very good guidance and sentiment for different reasons. New management at VTSI, executing really well. PLTR, the sentiment of the AI. So we got like multiple pillars working, and fundamental sentiment, catalysts, everything, and even technicals above key levels on both of these, Palantir and VTSI. So I really continue to like for the longer term Palantir, VTSI, and then Kodak because of the tremendous earnings report and the execution. And these are my three favorite stocks right now. I got to tell you, Palantir, Kodak, and VTSI. All right. But again, if the market goes down, all bets are off. That's why we're hedging. All right, Apron, they got some the annual shareholder meeting today. We're just waiting for that deal to close. ASXC, there's some stirring, so you can see that big movie yesterday. We're waiting for this deal with Karl Storz. I don't think I'm going to anticipate the deal. There's some suggestion that there's some job postings or whatever that suggests that the deal is closer, but I'm going to wait. If they do the deal with Karl Storz, and especially it involves money that would cause them not to have to raise money, then I'll jump into ACXC possibly. And with that, we're going to bring on our friend Vegas, and we're going to make some money. Let's go. How you doing?
Good morning.
All right.
Morning.
Yeah, well, you missed the top of our show. I'm actually bullish on 2 ER re-rating plays, PANW and PLAB. Besides that, QQQ is pulling back. Let us know what you think and how you're playing it.
Right now, I'm not playing QQQ. I want to see if it goes under 330. That's kind of like the level I'm looking at. So I want to see if it does break below 330. We'll have to see. There's a lot of things in play here. I mean, there's a lot like the debt ceiling situation. We have NVIDIA earnings today after hours. I mean, that can change sentiment in the market as well.
I forgot about that. Thanks for letting me know.
That's a big catalyst. I mean, we've seen it before where we've had Microsoft report earnings one quarter, and all of a sudden it's like saved the market. So not saying, it's just be open-minded, just, trade, we'll see what we do here. Not going to jump right now into some, conclusions that, the market's going to go to the ceiling, the shit's going to hit the fan and then start going onto all these puts right now. I still need confirmation on a lot of these levels breaking support. So just, just monitoring really, not really jumping into things just yet. We know Meta has layoffs coming today. They're kind of going to cut around 490 full-time jobs in Ireland, which is 20% of their workforce. AMD just unveiled the new level graphics card, the Radeon RX, which gets released tomorrow. But I would say my top watches today, honestly, are going to be Amazon.
I noticed the strength this morning in Amazon.
Yeah, some nice strength in Amazon. And you know what? I'm also liking Moderna. So, we're hearing the news again that in China could be some COVID resurgence, or they're saying like another COVID.
Oh, is that why Moderna went up yesterday?
Yeah, well, maybe that's why it went up, but also this China stuff, the vaccine plays, come into play. So that's a catalyst right there. So, but also watch the China stocks. I mean, like BABA, Las Vegas Hotel, Wynn Hotel. China, they love going to the casino. They love casinos. So, if there's going to be any kind of, let's say, fear of COVID situation in China happening again, with a resurgence, then you'll see some volatility in the casino stocks and China stocks like Baiju's, the Babas, the JD.com. So maybe those are some ones to watch as well. So, but my focus today, I'm going to be watching Amazon over 116.78 and looking for Moderna to break 141.94. So those are really going to be the two that I'm looking at. Nothing else really interests me. I mean, PANW is already had the earnings. It's already popped up. So yeah, and it's had some upgrades too. So definitely could look at some continuation. Macy's also, like what's happening here with Macy's, had some news here. Let me just take a look here. But I was going to tell you some other
Wow,
ones
look
that
at
you
that. Wow,
yeah.
what's going on?
And Macy's looks good this morning for a trade. So let me just see. They had news. I don't know if they had the earnings come out today. I didn't have a chance to
Yeah,
look.
I don't see the news. If you find it, let me know.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
I have to check and see what happened with Macy's.
I mean, I see an analyst maintaining a $25 price target. That's all I see on
Yeah,
my
I'll
feed.
take a look here at Macy's. But there was another couple of catalysts too to mention. There was a company,
About the 20 DMA.
KMDA. They're
Yeah.
up 12%. Kamada, they've announced a $60 million private placement.
Oh
So
wow.
with FEMI Opportunity Funds, that looks really good. And that's
Ooh,
up
I
this
like
morning,
that.
12%. Also, PTCT announced top-line results from their one of their vaccines on PTCT. So that was another one that popped up this morning. And Ryan Specialty, RYAN, agreed to acquire Socius Insurance. And then we had, I think that was the only ones that stood out to me from the watch list. But we had UTRS up 195%, Patent Talk. APGN was up 45%. Pyxis Oncology to acquire them, so they're getting acquired. And then RTL has a merger agreement as well. And EEIQ was up also this morning, 125%. So we've got some really good pre-market movies here.
Yeah, I see that, and I'm fixated on KMDA right now. I'm trying to figure out the terms of this offering. That looks really interesting.
Well, I
You
like
announced
the
this
private placement with FEMI Opportunity Funds, so
Yeah.
that's actually good.
Yeah, here.
Whenever I
Okay,
see
here's the
private
news.
placement, I like those.
Okay,
So that
$4.
one's I have to look at the chart.
$4.75. Okay, and I don't see any warrants. That's really good, especially for a small company like
By
this
the way,
when
this
they get
company,
a
I
cash
don't know if you heard
flow.
if you traded this before, but this is also a company in Israel,
Yeah.
and also they have an office in Hoboken, Jersey. So they have two locations, one in Rehovot, Israel, and one in Hoboken, Jersey, and they are a commercial stage biopharmaceutical company, and so that's a really good one. And this fund, this $60 million investment, is with FEMI Opportunity Funds, FIMI, which is the leading private equity firm in Israel and a major shareholder of the actual Kamada. And so they're going to purchase $60 million of the ordinary shares in a private placement. And under this deal, they will have 12.6 million ordinary shares at a FEMI price of $4.75 per share, which is the closing price of the stock within the last 20 trading days prior to the purchase agreement. And upon closing the transaction, they're going to own 38% of their shares, and they will become a controlling shareholder of the company within the meaning of the Israeli company laws. Okay. So this is great to see this private placement. That means they have confidence in this company and whatever they have in their pipeline. So something to watch. This company does a lot of commercial products. They have 6 FDA-approved plasma-derived biopharmaceutical products. And, I love Israeli companies, Israeli technology. They're one of the best in the country. So one to watch. I'm not in the position at all, but definitely one to watch. And they also had the CEO also. They had their earnings too. You should take a look at the earnings report. They did have earnings. Actually, when was it?
This morning.
Earlier
This
today.
morning.
Yeah, the earnings were up 9% year over year. EBITDA increased 16%. They announced that private placement, so they're in good shape. So definitely, they've increased. They're reiterating their guidance as well. So from 138 million to 146 million, which is showing a growth of 30% as compared to 2022. And within 2023, there are multiple catalysts in their existing business, and they anticipate annual double-digit growth in the revenues and profitability in the foreseeable years ahead. So I like what this company has. It looks like a growth stock, one to watch, and a nice little biotech company that has lots of things going on. Nobody's going to throw in $60 million in a company that they don't feel has potential. So they do have cash. No, they have no debts, by the way, so which is great.
And it was a clean purchase, no warrants, as far as I can see, $4.75. I like that. That's something to look for. So that's up there at the top of my watch list.
The deal will close in the second half of this year. So this $60 million financing isn't closed yet. It will close January, March, April, May. I guess the end of June.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Awesome. Thanks for that. And great idea, by the way, focusing on the things with relative strength this morning, like Amazon, Macy's. That's the way to do it on a day like today. So I hope we all have a great day. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.